You are standing in a place before memory begins. The world around you is soft, woven from mist, and the gentle pre-dawn light that pools in the hollows of the land. There is no sound but the whisper of your own presence, the quiet rustle of your movement against the deep, resonant silence of the plain. The air is cool and damp, carrying the scent of wet earth, of ancient chalk, and the sweet, green perfume of crushed grass. It is a fragrance that speaks of stillness, of time unmeasured by clocks or calendars. You feel it settle upon your skin, a blanket of profound calm. Before you, the land rolls away in immense, sleeping waves of green and gray. The horizon is a blur, a seamless meeting of earth and sky, and you feel as though you are the only soul awake in a dreaming world. Your feet are soft on the turf, a thick carpet of moss and fine grasses that cushions every step. Look down. See the tiny, perfect globes of dew clinging to each blade, each one a miniature world reflecting the vast, pearlescent sky above. The ground feels alive, breathing softly beneath you. It holds a deep and patient energy. You begin to walk, not with purpose, but with a gentle curiosity, drawn forward by an unseen current. Your movement is slow, unhurried. The mist swirls around your ankles, cool and weightless, parting before you and closing silently behind. It is as if the world itself is guiding you, opening a path that only you can see. The light is changing now, almost imperceptibly. A hint of warmth, a subtle shift from silver to the palest gold, begins to touch the highest edges of the rolling land. The world is slowly, gently waking. And here, in the quiet, you find your breath. A slow inhalation, feeling the cool, clean air fill your lungs. A long, soft exhalation, releasing everything you carried to arrive in this place. There is only the here and now, the breath and the mist, the earth and the sky. Your path leads you toward a shallow depression in the earth, a soft curve that feels more ancient than the hills themselves. It is a circle, a great, wide ring carved into the chalky soil, now softened by millennia of rain and wind and growing things. This is the first threshold. You can feel a subtle shift in the air as you approach it, a quiet hum of significance. This is a line between the outer world and an inner one. Long ago, it is said, this ditch was not a gentle slope, but a stark, white boundary, its banks piled high, a brilliant circle of chalk under the sun and moon, a declaration, a sacred boundary. Now, it is a whisper, a memory held in the shape of the land. You pause at its edge, looking across the gentle divide. The grass here grows differently, thicker. The wildflowers, small constellations of white and blue, seem to cluster along its banks. You can almost feel the countless footsteps that have paused here, just as you are pausing now. The quiet anticipation, the moment of transition. You place one foot forward into the shallow ditch, and the ground feels different, softer still. Then up onto the inner bank, and you are across. You have passed the threshold. You are inside. The world within the gray circle feels quieter still. The sounds of any world beyond this one have vanished completely, muffled by the earth and the mist. There is only the sighing of a faint breeze that has begun to stir, a breath of air that seems to rise from the ground itself. It carries with it the faintest scent of stone, a dry, mineral smell, like the air after a summer rain has struck dry rock. It is the first hint of what lies ahead, a promise carried on the wind. You continue your slow journey inward, across the expanse of open ground. The light is growing, the mist thinning into translucent veils that drift and tear, revealing glimpses of the landscape around you. Far away, on the crest of a hill, you see the dark, hunched shapes of ancient burial mounds, sleeping giants guarding the horizon. They are a part of this story, silent watchers who have seen ages pass like clouds. Their presence lends a deeper gravity to the stillness, a sense of immense, uninterrupted history. Your eyes are drawn forward again, to a darkness that is slowly coalescing in the heart of the mist. At first, it is just a deeper gray, a smudge against the brightening air. But as you walk, shapes begin to emerge. They are vast, impossibly vast. Upright forms, colossal pillars of stone that seem not to stand upon the earth, but to have grown from it, like an ancient, petrified forest. They are silent, immense, and utterly still. The primary motif here is the light, the way it interacts with these emerging forms. The golden glow of the hidden sun now catches the top edge of one of the great stones, and for a moment, the rock itself seems to burn with a soft, internal fire. The light traces the rugged contours of its surface, revealing textures carved by eons of wind and rain. It is a surface that tells a story of deep time, a story that you can read not with your mind, but with your senses. As you draw closer, the sheer scale of the stones begins to impress itself upon you. They tower over you, silent sentinels that lean slightly, as if listening to a secret conversation between the earth and the sky. They are not uniform in color. In the gentle morning light, you can see shades of gray, of muted green from lichen, of soft ochre, and even a hint of purple in their shadowed hollows. They are a tapestry of subtle color, a painting made by time itself. You stop a short distance away, simply to take them in, to feel their presence. It is a presence that is both powerful and deeply calming. They do not loom or threaten, they simply are. They hold their space with a kind of peaceful authority that makes the world feel more solid, more real. You can feel the ancient calm they exude, and you breathe with it. A slow, steady rhythm that matches their timeless stillness. Now, your path veers slightly, leading you not directly to the great circle, but toward a smaller, more secluded grove of trees. In this landscape, they feel like newcomers, their lives measured in centuries, not millennia. But they, too, hold a kind of wisdom. They look like ancient yews, their boughs heavy and dark, their leaves filtering the growing light into a dappled, shifting pattern on the ground beneath them. It is a place of shade and quiet contemplation. You step under the canopy of the first tree, and the world changes again. The open expanse of the plain is replaced by a gentle enclosure. The air here is cooler, smelling of rich soil and damp bark. The sound of the wind is different, no longer a sigh across the open grass, but a soft shushing sound as it moves through the needles of the yew. It is a sound that invites you to be still, to listen. You run your hand along the trunk of one of the trees. The bark is a mix of textures, smooth in some places, deeply grooved in others, and covered in a fine, velvety moss that feels cool and damp to the touch. This tree has its own history, its own story of seasons and storms, written in the language of its own growth. It is a living presence, a contrast to the stone, yet it shares the same sense of patient endurance. From within the grove, you can see the great stones framed by the dark branches of the trees. The view is different from here. The stones seem less like individual pillars and more like a single, unified structure, a crown upon the head of the earth. The branches create a natural frame, focusing your attention, inviting you to see the monument not just as a collection of objects, but as a complete thought, a deliberate creation of immense scale and purpose. Long ago, it is said, these plains were not as bare as they are today. There were woods and groves, sacred places of their own. You can almost feel the echo of that older time here, under the trees. You can imagine people seeking shelter here, a moment of shade from the summer sun, a place to rest on a long journey to the circle, a place to prepare the mind and heart before entering the sacred space. It is a place of transition, just like the Great Ditch, but of a different kind. A transition from the outer world of nature to the inner world of human creation. You find a spot where the ground is soft with fallen leaves, and you sit for a moment, your back against the solid trunk of the ancient tree. You close your eyes and you listen. You listen to the whisper of the wind in the branches. You listen to the profound silence that lies beneath that sound. You can feel the steady, solid presence of the tree behind you, and out on the plain, you can feel the immense grounding weight of the stones. You are held between these two ancient energies, the living and the lithic. The stillness deepens, and your breath follows. You are not an observer here. You are a part of the scene. Your quiet breath is a part of the wind. Your warmth is a part of the air. Your stillness is a part of the great, enduring peace of this place. This is the gift of the threshold, the crossing over into a state of being where time slows down, where the senses awaken, and where the boundary between yourself and the world begins to dissolve. The light continues to grow, and the last of the mist is burning away, like a final, dissolving veil. The full majesty of the stones is being revealed, clear now against the brightening sky. A new day is beginning, just as countless days have begun here before. The great stones are catching the light, holding it, as if greeting an old friend. From your quiet place in the grove, you watch the ancient ritual of the dawn. You have crossed over, you have arrived, and the journey is only just beginning. The path ahead waits, leading out from the shade of the trees, onto the sunlit grass, and toward the heart of the great stone circle, which stands open and waiting, as it has for ages, a silent invitation into a deeper mystery. You return to the quiet grove, to the cool air beneath the ancient trees. The scent of damp earth and yew needles remains, a grounding presence that welcomes you back. Through the dark, framing branches, you can see the great stones, standing sharp and clear now in the full morning light. The mist has gone, leaving behind a world of crisp detail and subtle color. The sky above is a high, pale blue, and the air is filled with a clean, gentle warmth. The profound silence you first encountered has changed. It is not gone, but it is now the canvas upon which new, fainter sounds are beginning to appear. The distant call of a bird, the low hum of insects stirring in the grasses. These are the sounds of the living world, and they weave themselves into the stillness, making it feel not empty, but full of peaceful, latent life. You take a moment here, in this place of transition, to find your anchor. The stillness deepens, and your breath follows. A slow, easy rhythm, in and out, connecting you once more to the patient spirit of this land. You rise from your resting place and step out from the shade of the grove, back into the open sunlight. The grass is warm and dry now, and your footsteps make a soft, rhythmic, swishing sound as you walk. You are moving toward the circle again, but your focus is shifting. You are beginning to sense not just the presence of the stones, but the absence of the people. An absence so old and so complete that it has become a presence in itself. You can feel the echo of them in the air, in the worn paths under your feet, in the very arrangement of the stones. This vast, open space surrounding the central monument, it was not always this empty. It was once an agora, a great meeting place. You can almost feel the hum of it, a gentle, imaginative reconstruction of a time when this was a bustling landscape. Close your eyes for just a moment. Listen past the wind. Can you hear it? The murmur of voices, 1,000 people speaking in a language that the wind has long since carried away. The sounds are soft, rhythmic, like the flow of a river. There's no shouting, no clamor, just the steady, reassuring sound of a community gathered together. Imagine the scene. People arriving from all directions, walking for days across the rolling plains, their eyes fixed on the great circle on the horizon. They come with their families, their clans. They bring goods to trade, stories to share, news from faraway valleys. The air would have been thick with the smell of wood smoke from countless small fires, the scent of roasting grains, of woolen cloaks damp with morning dew. It is a human smell, a smell of life and society, and you can almost taste it in the back of your throat. You open your eyes, and the empty plain returns, but it is not the same. It is now populated by ghosts you have invited, by the gentle echoes of a life that was once lived here with purpose and passion. Your walk slows, becoming a lullaby-like rhythm, a pace that matches this reconstructed dream. You are walking through their marketplace. Right here, where you now stand, perhaps a woman laid out polished stone axes for trade, their edges smooth and cool to the touch. Over there, a man might have been displaying pottery, simple, beautiful vessels, their clay the very color of the earth beneath your feet. Your journey takes you along a wide, almost imperceptible path that curves toward the monument. This is the avenue, the ancient processional way. The ground here is smoother, more compacted, worn down by the passage of uncountable feet. This was not a path for a single person, but for a whole people. You begin to walk along it, falling into a slow, deliberate rhythm. Left, right, a walking meditation. You can feel the energy of those processions, the shared sense of purpose, the collective awe as they approach the sacred stones. Imagine the sight, a long, slow-moving river of people, dressed in fabrics dyed with berries and roots. The sunlight catches the polished jet and amber they wear. Their faces are turned upward toward the great lintels that bridge the sky. There might have been music, the steady, hypnotic beat of a drum, its rhythm the heartbeat of the community, a low, resonant chanting, a sound that vibrates in your chest, a harmony of human voices rising to meet the silence of the stones. You are part of this procession now. Your steady steps are a continuation of their journey. Your quiet awe is a reflection of theirs. The beauty of this shared, simple human experience settles over you. It is a feeling of connection, of belonging to a story that is so much older than your own. These were people who understood the rhythms of the earth, the cycles of the sun and moon, and they built this understanding into the very landscape. Now, shift your imaginative focus from the great procession to the individual. Think of the hands that built this place, not the hands of gods or giants, but human hands, skilled hands, patient hands. You are approaching the outer ring of sarsen stones, and you can see them more clearly now, the subtle marks of their making. The stones were not simply found and placed here. They were shaped, they were crafted. Pause before one of the giant uprights. It stands over 20 feet tall, a single, monolithic block of sandstone. Let your eyes travel up its length. You can see vertical grooves running up its face, faint, parallel lines. These are the marks of the tools. You can almost feel the process. The slow, rhythmic work of hundreds of people, pounding the stone with heavy mauls, chipping and grinding it, smoothing its surface over months, perhaps years. It was a labor not of force, but of incredible persistence. Imagine the sound, a constant, rhythmic tapping, not loud or violent, but a steady, almost musical percussion that would have filled this plain for generations. Chip, chip, chip. The sound of human intention slowly transforming the raw material of nature. It is the sound of craft, the sound of dedication. You can almost see them, their bodies lean and strong, their faces focused, their movements economical and practiced. They are not fighting the stone. They are in conversation with it, learning its grain, its strength, its weaknesses. They are releasing a shape that was already waiting within. Reach out and touch the stone. Let your fingers trace one of these faint vertical grooves. The rock is warm from the sun, but there is a deeper cold within it. The texture is rough, gritty, like coarse sand. As you follow the line, you are tracing the path of a tool held by a person 5,000 years ago. It is a direct, physical connection to their labor, to their skill. There is a quiet dignity in the simple act of touch, a reverence for the work of hands. This is not just a rock. It is an artifact. It is a sculpture. Your gaze drifts to the top of the stone, to the great lintel that rests upon it. Notice the way it has been joined. It is not simply balanced there. It has been fitted with a skill that is hard to comprehend. Mortise and tenon joints, a technique of a master carpenter, but executed in monumental stone. You can almost see the minds at work, the careful planning, the geometry, the profound understanding of weight and balance. This was a community of thinkers, of engineers, of artists. They were expressing their highest knowledge, their deepest beliefs, in a language of stone. Now, let your imaginary journey take you to a place of sustenance, a place of life. Nearby, perhaps where a cluster of reeds now grows, there might have been a spring, a source of fresh water. A public fountain house, not of carved marble, but of simple, well-trodden earth around a place where water bubbled up from the chalk aquifer. This would have been another hub of communal life. Picture it. People gathering with their clay vessels to collect water. The sound of water splashing, of quiet conversation, of children laughing as they play at the water's edge. It is a place of refreshment, of rest. The sun is high in the sky now, and you can feel its warmth on your face. Imagine the relief of splashing cool, clear water on your skin. The taste of it, clean and mineral-rich. Water is the element of life, and its presence here would have been essential. It would have been its own kind of sacred space, a place where the life-giving properties of the earth were most apparent. This is the beauty you are reflecting on now, the intricate web of shared, simple human experiences. The grand ceremony of the procession is connected to the quiet craft of the stone shaper. The communal gathering in the marketplace is connected to the simple, daily act of fetching water. It was all one life, one rhythm, one community. The great monument was not separate from their lives. It was the heart of it, the center around which everything else revolved. It gave them their calendar, their temple, their identity. And here, as you stand between the silent stones and the imaginary spring, you feel the ancient calm, and you breathe with it. You are breathing the same air they breathed. You are warmed by the same sun. You are standing on the same earth. The distance of 5,000 years seems to shrink, to become almost transparent. You are not just looking at their work, you are feeling the spirit that animated it. The spirit of community, of shared belief, and of the quiet dignity found in creating something beautiful and enduring together. The imagined sounds of life begin to fade once more. The tapping of the tools, the murmur of the crowd, the splash of water. They recede gently, like a tide going out, leaving behind the deeper, more ancient sounds of the plain, the whisper of the wind, the call of the bird, the great profound silence of the stones. You are alone again in the present moment, but you are not the same. You have been touched by the echoes of their lives. You have felt the warmth of their community. The empty spaces around you are no longer empty. They are filled with a felt history, a human story that is now a part of your own experience of this place. The stones themselves seem different now, not just geological wonders, but the embodiment of collective will, a testament to what people can achieve when they work together with a shared purpose. They are a monument to the quiet power of craft and the enduring strength of community. You stand for a long moment, simply looking, letting this new understanding settle. The sun is high, casting short, dark shadows at the base of the great stones. The day is bright and peaceful. The path ahead leads you now from the outer world of the community toward the very center of the circle, into the inner sanctum. The journey continues, from the echoes of the many to the silence of the one. A new threshold awaits. You return to the sun-warmed grass of the Great Plain. The imagined sounds of community have faded completely, leaving behind only the soft whisper of the wind moving through the coarse grasses. The immense stones stand before you, their shadows stark and deep on the ground. You can feel the powerful silence they emanate, a silence that seems to absorb all other sounds, drawing you inward toward the heart of the mystery. As you approach the entrance to the circle, you feel the air change once more. It becomes cooler, heavier. You are about to step from the open world into a contained space, a chamber defined not by walls and a roof, but by the colossal pillars of the Sarsens. This is a new kind of threshold. You pause, your feet on the very edge of the shadowed ground. Before you, the two mighty uprights of the entranceway frame a slice of the sky. To step through them is to enter a different state of being. And so, you take a slow, deliberate breath, and you step inside. Instantly, the world is transformed. The vast open horizon is gone, replaced by the enclosing ring of stone. Your sense of scale shifts dramatically. Outside, you are a small figure in a vast landscape. Inside, the stones create a new landscape around you, one that is both immense and intimate. The sky is no longer a boundless expanse, but a defined circle of blue directly above a celestial ceiling. The primary motifs here are shadow and silence. The light is no longer direct, but filtered, falling in bright columns between the dark masses of stone. It is a world of dramatic contrasts, of bright sun and deep, cool shade, and the silence. It is deeper here than anywhere else. It is a weighted silence, a resonant quiet that you can feel in your bones. The stones themselves seem to be the source of it, their immense mass and density creating a space of profound acoustic stillness. Even the wind sounds different. It no longer sighs across the plain, but whispers and hums as it finds its way through the narrow gaps between the megaliths, creating strange, flute-like notes that are barely audible. It is the breath of the sanctum itself. Here, in the profound quiet, you find your breath. It feels more noticeable here, the soft sound of your own life force in the midst of this ancient stillness. Inhale the cool, shadowed air. Exhale and feel yourself arrive more deeply into this sacred, contemplative space. You begin to walk the interior of the circle, your footsteps hushed on the sparse grass. You are in the space that could be considered the courtyard of this great, open-air villa. The outer Sarsen circle, with its continuous ring of lintels, forms a kind of cloister. The sun streams through the gaps, creating a slow-moving pattern of light and shadow on the ground, a natural sundial marking the passage of the day. You watch as a bar of brilliant light creeps across the dark, cool earth, illuminating the tiny heads of daisies and clover. It is a slow, silent drama, a play of celestial mechanics made visible and intimate. The theme of this space is solitude and contemplation. Outside, you felt the echoes of community, of shared ritual. Here, the feeling is one of intense privacy. This is a space designed for looking up, for looking inward. The towering stones block the outside world, focusing your attention, removing distraction. It is a place to be alone with your thoughts, or to let go of thought altogether and simply be present. You can almost feel the spirits of ancient priests and priestesses here, individuals who sought a deeper connection, a personal communion with the forces of the universe that this temple was built to honor. Your path leads you deeper inside the sanctum, toward the inner horseshoe of even larger stones, the great trilithons. These are the giants of this place, each one composed of two towering uprights and a massive lintel. They stand in a proud, semicircular embrace, their open side facing the northeast, toward the rising midsummer sun. They form a sanctum within the sanctum, a holy of holies, You step into the space defined by these 5 immense structures. The feeling of enclosure intensifies. The shadows are deeper here, the air cooler still. You have the distinct sensation of being inside a building, a great hall whose roof is the sky. The stones lean inward ever so slightly, creating a subtle feeling of embrace, of being held and protected. The scent here is different. It is the pure, clean smell of stone, the scent of the deep earth from which the Sarsens came, a dry, mineral fragrance that speaks of permanence and immense age. Now, you will dedicate a moment to a single micro detail. In the center of this great horseshoe, lying flat upon the ground, is a different kind of stone. It is not the sandstone of the Sarsens, but a greenish, darker stone, flecked with mica that catches the light. This is the altar stone. Long ago, it is said, it stood upright, a solitary pillar in the very heart of the temple. Now it lies sleeping, but its presence still marks the focal point, the absolute center of this intricate cosmic map. You kneel down beside it, not in prayer, but in simple, quiet attention. You do not touch it yet. You just look. Your focus narrows from the colossal scale of the trilithons to the small, intricate world of this single surface. The stone is not perfectly smooth. It is rippled, weathered, its surface telling the story of its long exposure to the elements, and it is covered in a universe of life. A delicate, sprawling map of lichen grows across it. There are different kinds, a pale, sea-green kind that looks like a dusting of powder, a darker, almost black kind that forms intricate, branching patterns like a miniature, petrified forest, and a bright, startlingly orange kind that grows in small, vibrant circles, like tiny sunbursts on the gray-green rock. Let your gaze trace the edge of one of these orange lichen circles. See how it grows, radiating outward from a central point. It is a record of slow, patient life. Each millimeter of its growth represents a year, a season of sun and rain. This tiny, living organism is a clock, measuring time on a scale that is almost impossible to comprehend. It is a direct, living link to the deep past. You can feel the sheer, overwhelming patience of the world in this one small detail. The stone provides the foundation. The lichen writes the story of time upon it. Now, you gently, carefully, place your fingertips on the stone, away from the delicate lichen. The texture is smoother than the Sarsens, cooler to the touch. It has the dense, solid feel of volcanic rock. It feels ancient in a different way, born not of sand but of fire. You can almost feel the heat of its formation deep within the earth. It is a piece of another landscape, another history, brought here from far away as something special, something sacred. This single stone is a pilgrimage in itself. Lifting your gaze, you allow the rest of the world to come back into focus. The towering trilithons around you, the outer circle beyond, the circle of sky above. This small detail, this tiny map of lichen on the altar stone, has grounded you. It has connected the cosmic and the microscopic. The grand, sweeping gestures of the builders are mirrored in the slow, intricate growth of the smallest living things. It all belongs to the same story, a story of time and presence and the quiet interplay of the elements. Here you will pause the imaginative layer, the reconstruction of the past. There are no imagined priests, no rituals, no ancient voices. There is only the sensory reality of this present moment. Purely, simply, focus on the light. Notice how it has changed. The sun is higher in the sky, and the columns of light falling between the stones are narrower, more intense. One such beam is striking the ground near your feet, illuminating a patch of earth so brightly it almost glows. You can see every tiny pebble, every blade of grass, every speck of dust in the air, dancing in the brilliant shaft of sun. Now, focus on the sound. Listen with your whole body. Hear the deep, resonant silence. Beneath it, hear the almost subsonic hum of the wind moving around the largest stones. Can you hear the faint, high-pitched song of a skylark, far, far above, its voice filtering down from the circle of blue sky? And closer, the tiny, dry rustle of an insect moving through the grass. Your own breath, the soft beat of your own heart. These are the only sounds in this ancient place, and they are enough. Focus on the feeling. The warmth of the sun on the back of your neck, the coolness of the shadow on your face, the solid, unyielding earth beneath you, the slight roughness of the altar stone still lingering on your fingertips, the gentle, almost imperceptible movement of the air on your skin. You are a collection of senses, a quiet receiver of this profound and peaceful reality. This is the gift of the inner sanctum. It is a place that strips away the unnecessary. It invites you into the purity of the present moment. The contrast between the outer world of community you imagined earlier and this inner world of the self is immense. Both are necessary parts of the human experience. The joy of connection and the peace of solitude. This space is a monument to the latter. It is a testament to the human need for quiet, for contemplation, for a personal space to feel the vastness of the universe and to find one's own small, yet significant, place within it. You rise slowly, feeling the deep calm of this place settle into you, becoming a part of you. You look around one last time at the great, silent council of stones. They have held this space, this silence, for millennia. They have watched the sun and moon and stars wheel overhead in a slow, celestial dance. They have felt the rain and the wind and the frost, and they have waited. They ask for nothing. They simply offer this, a space to be still, a space to feel the weight and wonder of time, a space to find the quiet center within yourself. The light is beginning to shift again, the shadows lengthening ever so slightly. The day is moving toward its afternoon. It is time to move on, to carry the silence of the sanctum with you. You walk back toward the entrance, and as you pass through the great stones and out into the open air again, you feel the world expand around you once more. The horizon returns. The sky opens up. But the deep, resonant silence of the inner sanctum remains with you, a peaceful echo in your heart. You are leaving the enclosed space, but you are not leaving its peace behind. It has become a part of your journey, a foundation of stillness for whatever comes next. You return to the circle, but you are standing outside it now. The deep chill of the inner sanctum, still a memory on your fingertips. The sun is past its zenith, beginning its slow descent into the afternoon, and the light has changed. It is softer now, warmer, a liquid gold that seems to be drifting down through the air, pooling in the hollows of the plain. The stark, high-contrast world of midday is giving way to a gentler, more forgiving beauty. You are standing before the blue stones, the smaller, mysterious stones that form an inner circle and horseshoe within the embrace of the great sarsens. They seem almost humble by comparison, yet they possess their own unique and powerful presence. They are the elders here, the first stones brought to this sacred site, carried on a journey of unimaginable difficulty from mountains hundreds of miles away. Their story is one of deep intention and a different kind of time. And here, in a soft afternoon light, you will contemplate the theme of gentle reclamation, of how meaning is not lost over time, but is gracefully transformed. The stillness of the place continues to deepen, and your breath follows, a slow and easy tide. You breathe in the warm, grassy air, and you breathe out, letting a sense of peaceful acceptance wash over you. You are a witness to a slow, silent process of change, a transformation that has been unfolding for thousands of years. Imagine these blue stones as they once were, It is said that some were carved with intricate patterns, others perhaps painted with sacred symbols in ochre and chalk. A faded painted stoa, a covered walkway of vibrant, meaningful art. Close your eyes and you can almost see them. Their dark, dolerite surfaces, covered in spirals, in zigzags, in symbols whose meanings are now lost to all but the wind. The afternoon sun would have been striking them, making the colors glow, a circle of vivid meaning at the heart of the gray Sarsen temple. Now, open your eyes. The paint is gone, washed away by 5,000 years of rain. The carvings are softened, worn away by the persistent caress of the wind, so that only the faintest ripples remain, visible only when the light is just right. Nature, in its slow, methodical way, was continually washing the stones clean, returning them to their essential state, but it has not left them blank. It has painted them anew with its own slower palette. You see the intricate, gray-green lacework of lichen, the deep, velvety green of moss thriving in a shaded crevice. Nature was not erasing the meaning, it was simply translating it into its own language. The human story of a single generation was being replaced by the geological and biological story of the ages. It is a great and gentle transformation. Your perspective begins to shift, guided by this slow tide of understanding. You are no longer looking for what has been lost, but are seeing the beauty in what has been created in its place. The sharp edges of human intention were kept settling, were continually being softened into a new kind of harmony, a collaboration between the builders and the slow, patient artistry of the natural world. Now, let your gaze wander from the stones to the ground between them. This whole sacred enclosure, once kept clear for ceremony, has become a wild garden. It is a library where the books have been left open to the rain, their ink fading, their pages turning to soil, and from them, new stories are growing. Here, you see a patch of resilient thyme, its tiny purple flowers releasing a fragrant cloud as the wind stirs them. Over there, a hardy yellow hawkbit is turning his face to the sun. Tall, slender grasses with feathery tops are swaying in the breeze, their movement a soft, hypnotic dance. Each plant is a volunteer, a seed that was drifting on the wind and found a home here in this protected, sacred earth. This is a library turned wild garden. The original purpose, the human-centric knowledge and ritual, has transformed. The space is no longer solely about the movements of the sun and stars, but also about the life cycle of a wildflower, the journey of a seed, the slow colonization of a patch of earth by moss. The meaning of the place has expanded. It has become more inclusive. It now tells not only the human story, but the story of all life, of resilience, of the quiet, persistent, creative force of nature itself. The great stones have become the guardians of this garden, their immense weight and permanence providing the shelter and stability for these small, ephemeral lives to flourish. The seasons were turning, and the garden kept growing, a testament to life's gentle, insistent victory. Your journey now takes you to the edge of the circle, where you can see the entire monument as a single entity. From this perspective, you can appreciate it as an open-air theater. You can imagine the great human dramas that played out on the stage, the solstices, the equinoxes, the rituals of birth, of death, of initiation. The whole community gathered, watching the celestial alignments, feeling themselves to be a part of a cosmic order. The theater was alive with sound and movement and collective emotion. The sunlight, striking the heel-stone at dawn on the longest day of the year, was the grand curtain rising on the most important act. But the actors have long since left the stage. The audience has dispersed, and a new performance is now playing, and it has been playing, uninterrupted, for centuries. The play is one of light and shadow, of wind and rain, of slow, seasonal change. The main characters are the sun, the moon, and the clouds. You are watching a matinee performance right now. Great, slow-moving galleons of cloud are sailing across the blue sky, their shadows gliding silently across the plain and over the stones. For a moment, the entire circle is plunged into a cool, deep shade, and its mood becomes somber, mysterious. Then, the sun emerges again, and the stones are brilliant, their surfaces warm and golden, their presence joyful and magnificent. This is a drama on a geological timescale. The acts are seasons, the scenes are days. The dialogue is the whisper of the wind and the drumming of the rain. The great transformation is this. The theater built for human ritual has become a theater for the elements. The meaning has not been lost. It has been universalized. It is a performance that requires no specific cultural understanding to appreciate. Its beauty is elemental, immediate, and profound. The slow tide of time was not destroying the theater. It was simply commissioning a new and infinitely longer play. You feel a sense of profound peace in this realization. There is no tragedy in this transformation. There is no sense of loss. Instead, there is a feeling of release, of letting go. The human desire to fix meaning, to create something permanent and unchanging, is revealed here as a beautiful but ultimately futile gesture. And in its place is the much deeper, more calming truth of impermanence, of flow, of graceful change. The stones are not a monument to permanence, but a monument to the beauty of transformation itself. They are not a static object, but a dynamic process, a slow, ongoing collaboration between humanity and nature, between time and stone. Metaphors of slow, natural processes come to mind. The change you are witnessing is like a slow tide, gradually reshaping a shoreline. It is like the turning of the seasons, each one bringing its own beauty, its own character, without invalidating the one that came before. It is time measured on a geological scale, where mountains rise and fall, and the work of human hands becomes just another interesting stratum in the rock. Here, you will omit the imaginative historical layer entirely, focusing purely on the sensory reality of this transformed state. Feel the warmth of the afternoon sun on your skin. It is a gentle, penetrating warmth, the warmth of a day that is content in its own fullness. Watch the movement of the grass. See how each individual blade bends in the breeze, how the collective effect is one of shimmering liquid waves of green and gold. Listen to the sound the wind makes as it presses against the massive flat faces of the sarsens. It is a low, deep hum, a vibration you can feel as much as hear. It is the sound of the air being slowed, of its energy being transferred to the stone. Notice the smell of the air. It is the scent of sun-baked earth, of dry grass, and the faint, almost sweet perfume of the wild flowers in the sacred garden. Everything is in a state of gentle, perpetual motion. The light is moving, the shadows are stretching, the clouds are drifting, the grasses are swaying, and the stones, which appear so still, are also in a process of slow, imperceptible change, their surfaces being minutely weathered, their substance being returned to the earth, grain by grain. Nothing is static, everything is flowing, and you are a part of this flow. Your breath rising and falling, your heart beating, your presence a momentary, conscious part of this great, beautiful, unfolding transformation. This is the intended reflection of this part of your journey. Meaning is not a fixed point, but a process. It is not lost, but gracefully transformed by nature into a new, quieter, and perhaps even more profound kind of beauty. The stones have been liberated from their original, specific human purpose. They are no longer just a temple or an observatory. They have become a work of art co-authored by time itself. They are a garden, a theater for the elements. a sanctuary for the small and resilient lives of plants and insects. Their meaning has become richer, deeper, and more mysterious with every passing millennium. As the afternoon deepens, the golden light intensifies, and the shadows of the great stones stretch out like long, dark fingers across the plain. The time of transformation is giving way to the time of elemental presence. You have witnessed how the human story has been enfolded into the larger story of nature. Now, you will turn your attention to that larger story, to the ancient, living forces that shaped not only these stones, but the very world itself. Your journey continues, moving from the scale of history to the scale of deep time. You return to the presence of the ancient stones, but your perspective has shifted once more. The golden afternoon light saturates the air, and the long shadows are creating a new geometry on the land. You have contemplated the human echoes and the gentle reclamation by nature. Now, you will listen to a deeper story, one told not in years or centuries, but in millennia. This is the story of the elements themselves, the water that shaped the chalklands, the wind that carved the stones, the sun that gives life, and the earth that holds everything in its patient embrace. The air is still and warm. The scent of sun-baked earth and dry grass remains, a calming and ancient perfume. You feel the deep peace of the place settling into your very bones, a peace that comes from feeling time not on a human scale, but on a geological one. The stillness deepens, and your breath follows. You breathe in the vast, patient quiet of the plain. You breathe out, and you feel yourself becoming a part of it, a still point of awareness in a timeless landscape. You begin to walk away from the great circle, following the faint indentation of the avenue as it stretches out across the plain, a pale chalk path leading toward the horizon. This ancient processional way is like a dry riverbed, its course determined long ago, its banks softened by time. The chalky soil beneath your feet is firm and pale, and you can see the fragments of flint embedded within it, dark, glassy shapes against the white. This entire landscape was once under a great ocean, formed from the settling of countless tiny shells over millions of years. This very ground you are walking on is a testament to the slow, persistent power of water and the patient accumulation of life. You stop and crouch down, running your hand over the surface of the path. It is smooth in places, worn down by the passage of so many feet, so many seasons. It feels like a collection of smoothed stones in a riverbed. You can almost feel the memory of water here, the great, slow tides of its geological past. The elements are not just acting upon this landscape now. They are the authors of it. The rain that falls today is a gentle echo of the primeval seas that once covered this place. This slow, patient smoothing of the path under your hand is a continuation of that ancient work. The cadence of your thoughts becomes measured, mirroring these slow, natural processes. Rising, you turn your gaze back toward the great sarsen stones, now silhouetted against the declining sun. You see them differently now, not as artifacts placed upon the landscape, but as outcroppings of the landscape's deeper geology, revealed and shaped by the elements. Think of the wind, not the gentle breeze of today, but the relentless, scouring winds of the ice ages, winds that carried sand and ice crystals, a great, slow-moving abrasive that worked on the stones for thousands upon thousands of years. You are looking at a wind-carved rock face. Approach one of the great sarsens again and look closely at its surface. You can see how the softer parts of the sandstone have been worn away, leaving the harder, more resistant parts in raised, rippling patterns. The surface is not flat, but a topography of hollows and ridges. It is a sculpture made by the wind. You can trace the lines of its movement, the eddies and flows of ancient air currents made solid in the stone. The verb that comes to mind is carving. The wind was slowly, patiently, relentlessly carving its story into the rock. Let your fingers explore this surface. It is a tangible record of deep time. You are touching the result of a process so slow it defies imagination. Each tiny groove, each smoothed over edge, speaks of 1,000 years of wind. It is humbling to feel this, to connect with a time scale so far beyond the human lifespan. It does not make you feel small or insignificant, but rather profoundly connected to a vast and ancient story. You are a momentary witness to a process that has no beginning and no end. The wind is still at its work. The air moving over your hand is still carrying its tiny, abrasive particles, still continuing the slow work of wearing away. Now, lift your eyes from the stone and look out toward the horizon. The sun is lower now, a great, soft orb of orange light, and its rays are spreading out across the sky. Your gaze falls upon a single, ancient tree, standing alone on a distant ridge. It is perhaps a hawthorn, its form twisted and shaped by the prevailing winds, its branches reaching out like gnarled arms. It is another testament to the power of the elements, but a living one. This tree is a silent witness. It has stood in this spot for centuries, its roots deep in the chalky soil, its leaves turning to the sun each summer, its branches bearing the weight of the winter snow. This tree is the living story of the elements in this place. Its deep roots speak of the earth, of the search for water and sustenance. Its sturdy, thickened trunk speaks of its resistance to the wind, of the strength it has built up over years of pushing against it. Its leaves, now golden in the late afternoon light, speak of the sun, of the quiet, miraculous chemistry of photosynthesis that turns light into life. The tree is breathing, just as you are. It is engaged in a slow, constant exchange with the elements, drawing them in, transforming them, and making them a part of its own being. Feeling time on a geological scale, you begin to recognize the ancient, living stories held within the natural elements themselves. The stone is not dead. It is simply living a different kind of life, on a different time scale. Its story is one of pressure, of heat, of slow erosion and transformation. The wind is not empty air. It is a force of creation and destruction, a carrier of seeds and dust and rain, the breath of the planet. The earth beneath your feet is not just dirt. It is a library of time, a layered history of life and death, of seas and forests and ice. And the sun is not just a source of light and warmth. It is the engine of all life, the great heart whose beating rhythm dictates the dance of everything on this planet. You stay in this space of elemental awareness, letting the human stories, the historical layers, fall away completely. You are simply a consciousness in a world of elemental forces. Feel the persistent, gentle pull of gravity, the earth holding you to its surface. Feel the light of the sun on your closed eyelids, a warm, red glow. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs, a direct connection to the great ocean of atmosphere that surrounds the world. You are made of these same elements. The calcium in your bones is kin to the chalk in the soil. The iron in your blood was forged in the heart of a star. You are not separate from this landscape. You are an expression of it. You are the earth and the wind and the water, made conscious for a brief and beautiful moment. Verbs of slow, persistent action fill your mind. The water is smoothing the stone. The wind is carving the rock face. The sun is warming the earth. The tree is breathing the air. The lichen is wearing away the stone, grain by grain. Everything is in a state of slow, constant, creative process, and you are here, witnessing it, participating in it, with your own slow, persistent breathing. As the sun dips lower, its light becomes even richer, a deep, honeyed gold. The long shadows of the stones now stretch all the way across the plain. pointing like the hands of a great clock toward the coming twilight. The day is preparing to release itself into the peace of the night. The elemental presence feels stronger now, more mysterious in the fading light. The wind picks up slightly, a cool breath that speaks of the coming darkness. It whispers through the grasses, a sound like a slow exhalation from the land itself. This is the deepest reflection of your journey so far, to feel yourself as a part of this elemental world, to understand that your own life is a part of these great slow cycles. It is a feeling of profound belonging. The anxieties of a single, short life begin to dissolve in the face of this immense and hurried and utterly beautiful reality. You are a part of a story that is billions of years old, and that story is held here, in this moment, in the feel of the wind, the warmth of the stone, and the light of the setting sun. You turn for a final look at the great circle. In this light, the stones seem to lose their solidity. They appear as dark, velvety silhouettes against the vibrant, glowing sky. They are no longer just stone. They are portals, gateways between the earth and the heavens, their shapes framing the colors of the sunset. They are a bridge between the geological time of the earth and the cosmic time of the stars, which will soon begin to appear. The elemental story of this place is about to merge with the even vaster story of the cosmos. The final stage of your journey is approaching, a journey upward, from the earth to the sky, from the particular to the universal. The wind sighs across the plain, a sound older than memory, carrying the cool, clean scent of the coming night. The sun has fallen below the horizon, and the world is bathed in a deep, violet twilight. The vibrant golds and oranges of the sunset have faded, leaving behind a profound and peaceful silence. You have felt the whispers of the elements, the deep time held within the earth and stone. Now, you will journey to the final destination, a place of elevated perspective, where the human, the elemental, and the cosmic merge into a single, timeless stillness. Your path leads you away from the circle, toward one of the ancient barrows that watches from the low hills. The walk is slow, your feet finding their way on the darkening turf. As you ascend the gentle slope of the burial mound, you feel yourself rising above the plain, your perspective gradually expanding with every step. The air grows cooler, clearer. This small hill, built by human hands millennia ago as a resting place for the honored dead, now serves as a quiet viewpoint, a place to watch the turning of the worlds. Reaching the top, you turn back to look upon the sacred landscape. From here, the great stone circle is a dark crown on the earth, its familiar shape now a stark, powerful glyph against the fading light. You are no longer within it, but you can see its entirety, its perfect form, its relationship to the vast land that cradles it. And here, in the vast quiet of the elevated world, you find your breath. It seems to move more freely here, high above the plain. You inhale the cool, thin air of twilight, and as you exhale, you let go of the journey itself, of all the thoughts and feelings and imaginings that have brought you to this point. There is only this: the view, the cooling air, and the deep, abiding peace of a world settling into rest. This final part of your journey is one of integration and cosmic scale. You have moved from observer to participant, and now you will feel your own stillness as part of the vast, peaceful cycle of the universe. The cadence of the narrative slows to its most patient pace. The sentences lengthen, flowing one into the other, like the slow transition from twilight to night. Your sensory journey begins with the light, or rather, its absence. Watch as the last vestiges of color drain from the western sky, a slow, beautiful surrender to the darkness. The world is reduced to shades of gray, of deep indigo, of profound black. The loss of detail is not a loss of beauty, it is a revelation of form. The rolling hills become simple, powerful silhouettes. The stones become a single, dark, unified shape, their immense power conveyed now not by their texture or detail, but by their sheer presence against the deepening sky. This fading light is a gentle closing of the eyes of the day, an invitation into a different kind of seeing, a seeing that is more about feeling than observing. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, your attention shifts to the texture of the world immediately around you. You are sitting on the ancient barrow, the turf cool and slightly damp beneath your hands. You can feel the small, resilient stems of wild thyme, the fine, soft blades of grass. The earth beneath you is solid, ancient, a mound of chalk and soil that holds the memory of generations. It feels like the very bone of the world. This tactile connection to the earth is your anchor, grounding you as your awareness prepares to expand upward into the immense and silent sky. You feel the elemental presence of the rock and wind, a constant, reassuring reality that underpins the entire experience. Now, listen. The sounds of the day are gone. The birds are silent. The insects are still. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the vast, resonant hum of the cosmos. The wind is the only voice, a soft, steady whisper that moves over the ancient mound, a sound that has no beginning and no end. It is the sound of the world breathing in its sleep. You can hear the blood pulsing gently in your own ears, a quiet, rhythmic drumming that is the sound of your own life, a small and precious song in the great, cosmic silence. The stillness deepens, and your breath follows, becoming slower, quieter, until it seems to merge with the soft breathing of the wind itself. And then you look up, and the universe opens itself to you, one by one. Then, in a sudden, breathtaking rush, the stars appear. The sky is no longer a dark ceiling, but a window into infinity. At first, you see the brightest ones, the familiar constellations hanging like diamonds on black velvet. But as you continue to gaze, more and more appear, a fine, glittering dust of distant suns, revealing the true, staggering depth of the space that holds your world. The Milky Way becomes visible, a soft, luminous river of light arching from one horizon to the other, a celestial echo of the chalky avenue on the plain below. You feel a sense of awe that is both immense and incredibly peaceful. This is the final theater, the grandest performance, and you are seated in the best place to watch. The moon begins to rise, a slender, silver crescent at first, its light impossibly soft and gentle. It does not erase the stars, but joins them, casting a pale, ethereal glow over the landscape. The plain below you is transformed. It is no longer dark, but a shimmering, silvered world of soft shadows and gentle highlights. The great stones of the circle catch the moonlight, and their surfaces seem to glow with a cool, internal luminescence. They are no longer just heavy rock. They are vessels of light, transformed by the magic of the night sky. You feel the ancient calm, and you breathe with it. Inhale the cool, starlit air. Exhale and feel the boundaries of your own self soften. Your small, individual story, your personal history, it all finds its proper place within this immense, cosmic context. The worries and concerns of a single day, of a single life, seem to float away, dissolving into the vast, silent peace of the night. You are not just looking at the universe, you are a part of it. As much as any star, as much as the moon, as much as the ancient stones below. Your consciousness is a small, bright point of light, just like the distant stars, and you are a part of this great, interconnected whole. This is the final reflection. You have moved from the threshold of the sacred space, through the echoes of its community, into the solitude of its sanctum. You have witnessed its transformation by nature and felt the deep time of its elements. And now, here, under the immense and silent sky, everything is integrated. The human, the natural, the cosmic, all come together in a single, unified experience of timeless stillness. There is no separation. The breath you are breathing is the same air that the wind whispers with. The earth you are sitting on is made of the same stardust that glitters above. The stones below are a mirror to the constellations above. Everything is connected. Everything is one. You can stay here as long as you wish. There is nothing more to do, nowhere else to go. This image, this feeling, can loop indefinitely in your mind. The dark silhouette of the stones, the cool silver light of the moon, the countless silent stars, and the soft, steady whisper of the wind. This is a place of perfect, timeless stillness. And you are at the very heart of it, your own quiet breath, a gentle rhythm in the great, silent symphony of the universe.